the question is there a model for pain in terms of structure? Well, there is, and there isn't, because we know that some people can have a structure and there's no pain. Nobody's looked at your feet, which is, they're underneath your knee. And there are 33 joints. I've had a lady say, I can't possibly stand up because I feel as if I'm being arrogant. Yes, we're going to sacrifice you for the rest of our body's happiness. Oh, yes.
Okay, you are stubborn.
Well, I'm okay with that. If that means I'm stubborn, because it served me.
Welcome to the Visionary Podcast, where we discuss science, medicine, physical health, and mental well-being. I have this feeling that your time in the Royal Air Force shaped your no-nonsense approach. I have a beautiful quote here for you. If you think you can do it, you probably can. But you work with people who were told that they will never run again. How would you bridge the gap between optimism and possibility, and on the other hand, reality?
Well, if you think you can't, you probably won't. So it becomes almost a self-fulfilling prophecy. And because we don't know everything yet, who says? I just can't accept that just because somebody says, you can't, that is the truth. So Ian McGilchrist has an amazing quote on the truth. And in the world of knowledge and discovery, he says the pathway to the truth is logic, science, intuition, and imagination.
Even imagination.
Even imagination, because the scientists have to have the imagination to even come up with the research parameters to wonder about what they intuited could work, could happen. I wonder if. So they have to have the intuition and the imagination to create the experiments that creates the science and the knowledge that we have, and the reasoning during the experiments to figure stuff out. Yeah. And he says, and Ian McGilchrist, who's this amazing philosopher and neuroscientist, he says it's equal parts reasoning, logic, science, imagination, and intuition. Equal parts. So the truth, if I use my intuition and somebody is telling me you can't, and I scratch the surface and I think, based on what? Is that logical? Is it really? It's like that, the Byron Katie. Are you sure that's true? Are you really, really, really sure? And then you think, well, no, I'm not sure. Maybe I can. And maybe in their world, in the context of how they see bodies moving, and they have a preconception, a perception that running is impactful on whatever joint they might be worried about. Well, it might be excessively impactful if the joint is always closed. It might be impactful if the legs feel like heavy lead the whole time and they're being dragged along. But then the question is, well, why is that joint always closed? Or why are the legs always feeling like you want to go for a run, but the legs don't want to? The legs aren't willing. Why? Because it's an innate movement pattern. So if somebody said to me, you should never bungee jump again. Well, a bungee jump isn't an innate movement. A bungee jump is mad and bonkers and people love it, and that's fine. But in the context of innate movement patterns, how can somebody say to another human, you should never do an innate movement pattern again?
That doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense. So then you think, well, I wonder if I explored a bit more, I could find a way, because the consultant might be saying that absolutely from the best, most caringest portion of his body, really looking after you, but he's bringing his preconceptions with him and he thinks that's going to hurt you and it's going to damage you. And in his experience, there's nothing else to do apart from stop.
Yeah.
So then you think, okay, everybody brings to the table their learnings. So then maybe you need to explore some more. And I think that the most valuable lesson, one of the most valuable lessons I learned about learning. So I was trying to learn something very, very complex. I'm thinking, how on earth? I had this book on embryology, and I was page 1, introduction, first paragraph, and I'm there. I'm thinking, yes, this is exciting. I'm with you. Second paragraph, page 1 of the introduction, I'm utterly lost. Absolutely, I've got no idea what they're talking about. So I went and did a course learning how to learn. And I learned so much, it was extraordinary. And one of the things that I learned from learning how to learn was you have to learn for as many sources as you can.
Wow, I'm really impressed because you found a text that you couldn't decipher and you didn't blame the text that this is beyond my understanding or anyone's understanding. It's you found the fault in you. Okay, let's learn how to learn.
Yes.
Okay, you are stubborn.
Well, I'm okay with that. If
That's
that means
amazing.
I'm stubborn, because it served me.
I said it lovingly. It's
Yes.
a positive thing to have.
I received it with the love that you gave it to me. Thank you. It was a revelation that I wasn't to learn this from that person, and then that's it. I can learn this from that person, that person, that person, that person. And I always say to people I work with, don't believe me, believe you.
Yeah.
Take whatever you want from what I'm showing you, explore it, play with it, and your experiential learnings will evolve because you're going to believe you.
Yes.
How you feel.
We should start trusting our intuition over authority.
And not believing somebody just because they sound confident. And especially me, if I sound confident, it's like, no, don't believe me. What does it feel like in you? What do you feel? What do you notice? What are you aware of that you weren't aware of before?
Yeah, and when we start questioning old narratives about our bodies, our recovery might accelerate. And it would be as if mindset itself is part of the therapy.
Well, you're a girl after my own heart there.
Hi, I'm Hella, your host today. If you're enjoying what you see, please hit that lovely subscribe button. It would mean a lot to me and my team. Or maybe it's more now. We're still learning, we're still finding our feet, but with your support, we can build this channel. Let's take this journey together, one step at a time. Thank you so much for being part of it. Helen, you've had many firsts. You co-founded a bike fitting studio, and you were Europe's only female advanced bike fitter. What kind of bias did you notice when you embarked into this male-dominated domain?
Well, being ex-Air Force, I was used to it. I think that what was obvious was that we do it like this. The world, not the bike fitting world I learned from, Dan Enfield, who was the inventor of the first tri-bike, TT bike, and the triathlon wetsuit that you could swim front crawl in. So he is an amazing innovator and free thinker. But the cycling world, many industries have we do it like this. There's a way. This is how we do it, and that's that.
Everything is molded already.
Yes, and I approached it from the position of movement. So, and a bike, we love the bike. I love cycling. The bike is not even remotely an innate movement pattern. We weren't born to ride a bike. It was somebody's concept. It's great fun and we love it. However, this is a completely man-made, sitting on a saddle, leaning forward on handlebars and going round and round and round and round like a little hamster, is not an innate movement pattern. And the bikes were never built with the ergonomics of the human in mind. They were built with concepts of what if we turn the wheel and the chain and the pedal and the foot and the turning wheel can't bump into each other, all sorts of engineering kind of things rather than sort of more the bioengineering. So I had a lot of questions,
Of course.
because I was approaching from the world of, well, but we bring the human and plonk it on the bike. And really what we need to be doing is figuring out why the human is sat on the bike looking like that. Can we help the human before he even gets on the bike? And can we then arrange for the bike to fit the human rather than make the human fit the bike?
Okay, because the human is the original invention.
Yes.
Original entity.
Yes.
Okay.
And we do fun things like in TT position, in time trial position, where you're sort of leaning forward in that sort of aero position.
It looks so cool, I have to
It does.
say.
It looks, and it's very cool to do too. And I would adjust the thumb. So the person would be pedaling away there, and I'd adjust their thumb on the triathlon extensions and the tri-bar extensions, and they would have more power to the pedal because we could measure the power output, and minds would be blown. Not because I was being clever, but because I understood more than perhaps they did about the connectivity of the human body. And the thumb is connected to the shoulder blade, is connected to the rib cage, is connected to the spine, connected to the pelvis, which is connected to the foot. So we have this sort of chain of events from the thumb all the way down to the foot. And I'm passionate about tongues. I seem to be using it endlessly. So I'm passionate about tongues, and I would have them get more power to the pedal by pushing their tongue up on the roof of their mouth.
Really?
On an Ironman, I would recommend that they rested their head, which is heavy, on their tongue rather than hang their head or strain to hold their head. They would just put their tongue firmly on the roof of their mouth, and it would give the neck muscles a rest because the tongue is so strong and is the beginning.
I'm trying to do it right now. See how I feel.
And so if you put your hand on your belly, so you relax your belly and you relax your tongue, and then you push your tongue straight up on the ridgy bit behind your teeth firmly, really firmly. Can you feel your abs engage? Push, push, push. You feel it?
Yeah, slightly.
And then you let go. So let go of the tongue. So you might need to do it a couple of times, and the belly will relax. And then, so you push the tongue up.
And this would relax the head for the purpose of efficient running?
For efficient cycling, because you're not wasting energy holding your very heavy head up in that tucked aero position. Every time you want more power, use your tongue. Don't try harder.
Really?
Trying harder sends shoulders up to ears. Tongues, they're always with you. They're so helpful. So there's a within the world of skeletons and muscles and soft tissue, there's anatomy trains, Thomas Meyer's work, and he's identified a very strong line of fascia in dissection that goes from the tongue.
Fascia, this muscle?
So the fascia, all of the stuff in our bodies that isn't muscles and tendons and ligaments, everything else. So a deep line of connective tissue, if you like, that goes from the tip of the tongue all the way through the abs, splits in the pelvis to go down the inside of your legs, all the way down to the underside of your feet to the tips of your toes. So in dissection, it's easily held together. So they call it anatomy trains, and they call it the deep front line. So we are connected by these deep lines of superficial and deep lines of fascia. These are models. The musculoskeletal system is a model. It doesn't stand alone though, because and we have the fascia, and we have the organs, and we have the brain with the innate movement patterns. It's and. Nothing, if you put it into a box of this is the model or the area, musculoskeletal or osteopathy, so bones, or surgery, cutting people open, whatever the discipline is, whatever the professional discipline is, it's that and. It's and everything else. Yeah. It's where is the joined upness of all of those amazing disciplines talking to each other so that we can see the entire unit. So the knee problem isn't the knee. We've established it's not the knee because we've done everything to the knee and nothing is wrong with the knee. We've had the scan and now, no, we've had the surgery. No, nothing, your knee's fine, but clearly it's still not. So what is it? If it's not the knee, it's got to be something else. So this goes back to the very, very beginning of the conversation. How can you tell if it's underneath the knee in the foot or above the knee somewhere? And it'll be in the movements. You'll see the movements. So I remember working with a professional footballer, Premiership. And he'd had something ridiculous like 6 surgeries in a matter of, I think it was a year or less than 2 years, a ridiculous amount of surgeries. And he had the highest arches I think I've ever seen in my entire life. Arches of his feet. So rigid feet, high arched, rigid foot. And I said, okay, so what have you done with your feet?
Nothing, probably.
Nobody's looked at your feet, which is, they're underneath your knee. And there are 33 joints.
And he was a footballer, so he kicks the ball with the feet.
So 33 doors. 33 doors underneath his knee joint, which is one door. So,
and those people have like professional advanced physios, right?
Yes. So again, we come back to everybody has something positive to bring to the table. Everybody has a voice. Everybody's done all this wonderful learning. And everything is incomplete. So if we just everybody take a breath, okay, it's all incomplete. So can we just keep talking to each other, keep opening the doors, not of joints now, but literally of awareness of everything else around the site of the problem. So in my dreams, we start not by looking at the problem. We look at the entire being right from the get-go.
This is such a paradigm shift because you're telling me this idea of the continuity of the whole body. We're not assembled parts, we're a whole. And it challenges the reductionist view of anatomy.
Well, of course, anatomy is, the Latin is, I believe, parts. So the root of our word anatomy is effectively body parts. And of course, in dissection, we can see all of these parts. Absolutely fascinatingly, I think it's about 10 years ago, some very bright anatomist decided instead of dissecting away all the stuff, leaving the muscles, the tendons and the ligaments and the bones, of course, they would take the muscles, the tendons, the ligaments and leave the stuff, all of that connective tissue stuff, leave it there. And it turned out they couldn't find the elbow ligaments. And it turned out that the elbow ligaments were a product of how dissection has been taught since, I believe, the 19th century.
Okay.
And then you think, oh my goodness.
We haven't evolved since then.
We appear to have got stuck. And is it time to just shake it up a little bit and maybe join the dots of all of this wealth of information we have, because there's no doubt about it. We have more information, but because it's being, as you say, reduced into, okay, you're in this box and this box and this box. I worked with a lady who had a knee problem, and she was about to have a surgery on her knee. And she was very worried because she'd actually never hurt her knee. She'd only hurt her ankle, and she'd hurt her ankle quite badly. And the very eminent, he was an eminent professor, she questioned the arrangement of the ankle to align the knee, because the knee needed realigning. And his response was that of, if there's any problem afterwards, I'll send you to the ankle specialist. And I have crawled into a corner of the room, because it's simply at the other end of the same bone, but it's a different department. And I think that this is where things slightly unravel.
Yes.
And it's not through anybody's fault. It just, things got separated, and you can rabbit hole and go deep, deep, deep into certain areas. But then at some point, you've got to bring it all back together again.
Do you think women have a different kind of awareness to coaches?
Oh, that's a really good question.
I'm not trying to be a sexist here or take advantage of, but...
Well, they do talk about a woman's intuition.
Yeah, and emotional skills.
I don't think there's even any separation between movement. So it's got to the point where we've even boxed it into physical issues and mental issues. And I don't think that I think that there is a much blurrier separation between those two than this is physical and this is mental.
Would you be able to tell someone's mental or emotional state by looking at them running?
Well, of course, you have postures. So a posture of withdrawal or sadness might be reflected in their general sort of, I call it almost soggy running. They're
crumbled.
It's soft, isn't it? So to flex and withdraw and go inwards, we have to soften. And then that runner might be a very soft, doors open type runner, because that's of their nature, and the ability to be. It's almost like I've had a lady say, I can't possibly stand up because I feel as if I'm being arrogant.
What is that
by
got to do with
standing up straight, not standing up straight, deportment, just extending the spine, just easily erect. She literally felt as if that in her felt like she was presenting herself as arrogant. So we get into a very convoluted and intriguing area of thinking about things, where preconceptions once again play their part, and people get used to where they are without questioning. So they look in the mirror, they don't see this. They look in the mirror, they see their hair and maybe their tie, or maybe a mark on their dress or whatever it might be, but they don't see them. They don't see how they are holding themselves still, never mind moving. And very few people see themselves moving. Maybe their partners or their friends might, I can spot you walking down the street. I know it's you from 100 paces.
Yeah, how do I solve this problem? How do I see myself? How do I become more aware of my posture, how I move?
Well, we have all of this technology now and we use it. You video yourself.
Oh.
So you can get a friend to film you. You can film yourself. It's really easy now. It didn't used to be, but it's really, really and instant now. So we can see ourselves, and it's not about looking at ourselves with criticism. It's with curiosity. Oh, do you know what? I noticed last week that shoulder was up or down or forward or back, or what else might it be? That as I run towards the camera in my bare feet, no, as I walk towards the camera in my bare feet, let's stick with the knee. As I walk towards the camera, one set of toes are moving, they're lifting, and the ankle is kind of moving, and the other foot is doing nothing.
Yes.
The foot is inert. The toes aren't lifting, the ankle isn't flexing, nothing is happening. That foot is like, I don't know, a brick. No pain there. No pain there. The pain might be in that knee, might be in the other knee, because that leg isn't doing anything and the other leg is having to do everything. Or it might be that knee because the action of the foot is never helping the shin bone be at the right place at the right time, because the ankle flexion should be rotating the shin bone. So if it isn't rotating the shin bone, the thigh bone is being, squished at the top end of the knee joint over the shin bone, which isn't quite in the right place because it didn't rotate. So we have this repetitive things not quite being in the right place at the right time. But we are so robust, we are so well made that just a little tiny little thing isn't going to be the thing that holds somebody in a chronic pain pattern. There's going to be this and this and this and this and this. They all might be related to only one or two things that are disorganized within the brain, but it will require invariably several elements that then create too much stress in that area. And even then, there might not have been pain for the person might have been moving like that for years and years and years and years. And then, well, why now? And it's just the tipping point. Yes. It's a brilliant book by Philip Ball called Critical Mass. There's a critical mass, a tipping point for everything, for a queue to get in the lift, for a bottleneck on the motorway, and for finally enough repetitions in that way, or now with a bit more intensity for then that area to think, oh, I can't do it anymore. It's just like, I'm going to hurt now, because you need to stop. I need to figure it out. What is going on? I am bearing the brunt of other areas in my body that aren't doing the job. It's not being shared with the whole body. It's being bulldozed into this one area bearing the brunt.
Yeah, so when they say, oh, you can't run because it's bad for your knees, for example, so it's not the running itself, it's how we do it. And our job is to discover, why is the knee upset? What is the knee sacrificing itself for, kind of thing?
Oh, it's a lovely way of phrasing it. Oh, that's lovely. Yes, it's like, yes, we're going to sacrifice you for the rest of our body's happiness. Oh, yes. Yes, it's exactly that. So to say don't run because your knee hurts, I was told that when I had shin splints and sciatica, don't run. What kind of an answer is that if you want to run? Don't run. That's not an answer. It doesn't
solve the problem, right?
So we need to think a little bit better and wonder why. And why is it just that knee? You're not hopping. You're running. Why not the other knee? Why not both sides? And I have never in all my years seen anybody with bilateral equal pain. So there might be pain on both sides, maybe both hips, maybe both feet, maybe both knees. But it's never the same. Or one started and then the other joined in. It wasn't symmetrical, absolutely symmetrical, which is really interesting. So the question is there a model for pain in terms of structure? Well, there is, and there isn't, because we know that some people can have a structure and there's no pain. So we're on our way to understanding more, but it's incomplete. It's still incomplete. We still don't know everything. But it seems like if you do enough repetitions with enough intensity, or you're very, very long and you're not getting away with it, or you're very, very heavy and you're not getting away with it, then pain, we could say, we're not surprised that pain is there. Yeah. We're not surprised. It doesn't mean there's going to be pain, but it seems like teeny tiny people get away with it for longer. But there's no absolutes, and some teeny tiny people don't. So it's a confusing place, which is very mysterious and exciting and full of potential. We just need to learn more.
Yeah. What I gleaned now from what you said is that our bodies are so desperate for harmony, balance.